ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hour number 4 of the line, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Andrew McLean, Real Talk 99.5 TV, and the Talk 99.5 app. If you have not downloaded the app, it gives you a direct link to our YouTube. Actually, I think when you pull up the app, and let me do that as I speak, and I'll tell you exactly how that works. When you pull up the app, it actually on the at the very top of the app, it has got a live stream of our YouTube. So you can immediately see our YouTube from the app as it's live, which is cool. And so y'all can do that, hook that up. If you have not, and John Bird, I haven't really promoted this a lot lately, but I want to let you know about the Over the Line podcast, which is our podcast that we do. It's after hours, if you will. John Bird and I just do kind of an after hours podcast that you can check out. We did a little 30 minutes last night as I was in the middle of moving some stuff, but we've got a live podcast coming up Friday night at 6, and we would love to see y'all there. We're going to be having a good time. And y'all join us, man. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble. We'll be live on Facebook and Twitter, X, and all that kind of stuff. So join us. When you get in there, give us a hey now. Show us some love, all that jazz. And then the 10-year anniversary of Talk 99.5. We are days away, man. It is a week from Friday, May 15th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, you're cutting it a little close, bub. I'm going to tell you right now, you're cutting it a little close, but you still can go to Ticketmaster.com, look up Talk 99.5 or Jawbone Jam, or look up Brother Kane, and that's who we're going to have there. Brother Kane, Stone Horses and Cattle. It's going to be a big concert. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we would love to see y'all there. Just get your tickets. Thank you to Danny Knowles of the Knowles Group, Aqua Systems, Blakely's Bouquet, all those guys making it happen for us. Before we hit that break, I was going through some of the text. How much you paying the last caller? Still has not exposed the Epstein files. Yeah, just real quick on the Epstein files. I'm not going to say a whole lot about that, but every time I see that brought up, I'm like, what about the Epstein files have we not gotten that people are looking for? Because nobody's explaining that part to me. What is it? And also, do you trust the previous administration and the previous FBI? I'm talking about the Biden FBI. I'm talking about the first term Trump FBI, the FBI's before that during Barack Obama's term. Do you really trust that those individuals saved and preserved some of the most incriminating evidence related to Epstein? Do you think they just left it laying around for Donald Trump to come snatch up and expose? But no, people, they got something on Trump. Yeah, the most hated guy to ever step foot in politics. There's evidence out there of him doing something so nefarious that everybody would abandon him and he would be impeached and everything else, yet nobody has released it. Come on. Nobody believes that. Whatever is out there, whatever you think is out there, you're entitled to your opinion, but after 3 and 4 million pages of Epstein files being released and finally getting courts and to release the files that they've got and everything else. I don't know what else people are looking for as far as the Epstein files go. And I've said that for months and even years. I'm like, I don't trust the FBI to have preserved, if there is in fact incriminating evidence such as client list and black books and all that stuff. I don't trust the likes of James Comey and Christopher Wray and Robert Mueller and all of these other people to have sat on this evidence and kept it and preserved it to be found later. I don't think that those are the upstanding individuals that we're giving them credit to be, to have preserved this so one day people could get justice about what Jeffrey Epstein has done. And also, if there is this big client list and there's all these different names that that are out there, you got to ask yourself, well, why hasn't the victims of these crimes, why have they not come out and just given the names? Many of them have. Many of them have said, this is what I experienced. This is who I experienced it with. This is who, assaulted me, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And that's all out there. Most everything is out there. But if there's more that is being hidden, why is nobody saying anything about it, including the victims? And I think the reason behind that is because the victims don't have the information that people claim that they're looking for. So that doesn't mean Jeffrey Epstein was any less than an evil guy or that there's more to the story, because there may very well be. As far as the Epstein files themselves, this idea of files, you've got what's out there. And so at this point, if you're still bringing it up, you're just kind of using it as an excuse to say, oh, well, this person's doing this because of the Epstein files, or this person's doing that because of the Epstein files. The Epstein files doesn't have to be the crux of everything. But that's where I'm at on that. Clarissa says, don't forget the White House ballroom to benefit every future administration and world leaders. Yes, that's another thing. It's not like Donald Trump's going to be able to enjoy the White House ballroom for 4 and 8 years. I mean, he's going to be on his way out the door by the time that thing's done and finished. So he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for the future. Another case in point. Let's see. What else? Just flipping through here. Let's see. B Nasty says people think there's this nice, neat list out there that says these famous people were Epstein clients. Yeah. It's just I don't think it's there. And maybe it was. Maybe it did exist at one point. But the people that would have been overseeing it are not the type of people that would have preserved it and made sure that everybody can see it well into the future. We know a lot of the people that were involved with Epstein. And if you're going to be upset about any of that, you need to be upset about the people that are currently not facing justice, which I do understand that part, such as Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and others that aren't sitting behind bars as they should be, or at the very least sitting in a courtroom, which James Comer and other members of Congress have been deposing these individuals and using what power they have to get information. But, it's not like the Epstein thing has just disappeared. I mean, it's still being talked about and hearings are still being had on Capitol Hill, but my issue with it is using it as an excuse for everything, is to say, the Epstein files is why Donald Trump is in this conflict with Iran. It's kind of silly. Not everything is about the Epstein files. I'm just saying. Also, we're going to keep an eye on the weather throughout the afternoon. So make sure you keep it locked into 99.5 on all the latest as these things, this weather rolls in. There is a storm cell, thunderstorm rolling in. No tornadoes in it or anything as of now. That's kind of riding up 2059 from Mississippi into Alabama, across the state line into the Livingston area. That's going to be heading in the direction, trying to get the radar moving just to see what direction that's moving. I guess it's kind of moving northeast, and may, I don't know what it's going to move northeast, so that's going to roll up through Tuscaloosa, and that may be part of the storms that we see in Birmingham or southern Jefferson County, but Leland's going to have all that for you as it happens. I know some schools have been letting out early based on severe weather, some of which are letting out at like 1:30 or an hour early or something like that. So we'll see. I've got to get to I gotta get to this Ohio stuff. Let me break that down for you in just a minute. First, Mandu, MANDUU.com, Mandu.com. My Lord, do I love some Mandu. Paul and Jolie and all the trainers and everybody up there that makes Mandu happen from Homewood to Huntsville and Tuscaloosa. Man, they're just great, great people. And they're doing it for all the right reasons. I mean, some people go into business and open up stores and shops and everything else in order just to make money and, pay their bills. But what I can say about these people at Mandu is they do it because they genuinely want to see people change their lives. And they see it on a regular basis. They've seen it with me, they've seen it with many others. With a 15-minute workout, you're able to keep yourself in shape. If you're like me, you don't have time to go to the gym 2, 3, 4 times a week and spend an hour or 2 or 3 hours. You just can't do it. You don't have time. With Mandu, it's so convenient. I'll tell you exactly because you got the workout's 15 minutes and the uh the workout's 15 minutes, but by the time I get there and by the time I walk in the door to the time I leave, I'm probably in there for 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. That's getting in there, dressed out, working out, dressed back in, and I'm out the door. Literally takes no time at all. And it's getting you in shape in a way that you didn't even think was possible. So I want you guys to try it. You could try it for free, as you know. And just because the weather's warming up doesn't mean you can't get in shape or be feeling better by summer because you absolutely can. Go try it for free by going to the website, MANDUU.com. Click that button that says claim your free session. Pick a day, pick a time, and then show up and hook it up. Whether it's Homewood, Huntsville, or Tuscaloosa, any of those locations available for you. Even if you sign up with one, you can go to another. Whatever's convenient for you, man. Mandu, love it. Make sure you mention me when you talk to him. MANDUU.com. Let me get Dennis in Trustville real quick. Dennis, what's up?
Hey, man. So I very much support Trump, and I don't think anything about him or anybody else necessarily being manipulated about the Epstein files or any of that crap. But I do have questions because, number one, there's no dispute about whether there's millions of more Epstein files out there. It's just a matter of Pamela Bondi refused to release them, and Thomas Massey has demanded that they be released, but they just haven't been released, number one. Number two is the biggest question right now that I have about that is the Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and stuff that came out in this release and why he's still the Secretary of Commerce. Are you aware of what came out in this release about him?
I think I saw something related where his name popped up, but I don't know. I don't know that I got too far into it. I think I saw
All
it on
right.
social media somewhere.
The short version is that he's on the record being interviewed because he was Epstein's next door neighbor for years.
Mm.
So he was already creepy and suspect. But he said that he met him one time. He saw some massage table in his house, and him and his wife swore they would never spend time with him, and that was the only interaction he had. Well, 5 or 7 years later, something like that, there's now emails showing that he went with another family and visited the island, and he's sending Epstein talking about, hey, we're looking forward to coming to the island and all this kind of stuff. So that's explicitly lying about that. And in regards to what's come out about Epstein, it's not just that he lied, it's that he lied about that, okay? And so I'm a little bit confused as to why he's still sitting there as a Secretary of Commerce when that's come out, not to mention the fact that in 2016, he was working as a bundler for Hillary Clinton. Anyway, a lot of this stuff makes no sense to me. There's definitely more going on than we know. That does not necessarily mean that I think Trump is on the take or whatever. I have no idea what the relation is to that. But there's no doubt in my mind there's more to be known, and there's important stuff that is being withheld. I don't know by whom or for what reason, but there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with questioning stuff. I mean, there's the same thing out there with who was it? Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's got some bizarre interactions with Jeffrey Epstein as well that haven't been answered. And I don't, whether or not what Epstein files are out there or will have the answers to those questions. I don't know. I would think Trump could easily, if there was something to it, and it's brought to his attention, he could easily replace Howard Lutnick. But I don't know. I don't know. I think my problem is like you said, you don't think this being the case is that people use the Epstein files as a foundation of why Trump does what he does. You know, that he's being
Right.
controlled by the Epstein files on every single aspect, and a lot of it ties back to Israel and everything else. But you know, it's kind of
Let me make two really quick points. Then number one is that again, it's not a question of whether there are millions of more files out there. That's been established. Bondi has said so. She's just said she's not willing to release them. Of course, she's gone now, but she wasn't willing to release them then. Massey got pissed about it. Number two is that you were talking about, well, why should I believe that the FBI is going to have this stuff being kept all this time? Well, we have 3 million files that were released that they did keep. So there's no reason to think that there aren't more that they did keep. Honestly, I'm as shocked as you that we have what we even have, but we do. So if we do have that, then there's no reason to think that there weren't other files that, for whatever reason, are preserved. Maybe because they were scared that if they destroyed them, they would be culpable for that. Because Nixon got nailed for the cover up rather than the crime. So I don't know. Just stuff to think about. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Dennis. I appreciate you, buddy. You know, legitimate points. I mean, anything's possible, right? So it's just a matter of, I don't know. I mean, to my point with former FBI officials, I don't trust those people, even the ones that were under Trump in the previous administration. I really don't trust most people in the government. Let's be honest. But you know, it's one of those things. If you're gonna make arguments about the Epstein files, it would be selective about where you do it. I think is the main point here. But anyway, I got more stuff to talk about. 205-545-9950. More show coming up. All right, real quick. As we watch these storms roll in, I want to tell you right fast that when it comes to Noto Roofing, I want y'all to be aware that we might have hail and possibly tornadoes throughout the afternoon, throughout the evening. You can call Noto Roofing for emergency tarping, or if you got trees fall or anything like that, anything related to your roof on that front. Like if you've got something where you need something done in the moment, call Noto because they'll be out there in no time. I don't talk about that enough because we don't have these situations pop up all the time. But if you've got a situation where maybe you got a giant hole in your roof from these storms, maybe the first call to make would be Noto and let them know, hey, Andrew talks about you all the time. I heard him talking about it earlier. Can y'all get out here and help me at least stop the bleeding and then figure out what we need to do going forward to get this roof fixed? So keep that number in your phone just in case of something like that. It would never hurt to have somebody on speed dial that can get out there in the moment and get with you quick. They have um I think they've got 3 trees through roofs that they're working on in Vestavia from the last wind that was just a few days ago. Where and I almost had my sunroof knocked out of my car the other day because I was parked outside and a big limb landed right behind my car. Uh, but they're always working on this stuff, man, and they'll get out there in no time and hook you up. So get in touch with them, dude. 205 823 no 848 John Bird 205 848 2299. There we go. 205 848 2299 is the number. Put that in your phone. And if you can't, remember NotoRoofing.com. Real quick, let me tell you about the bloodbath that happened last night in Indiana. So, MAGA takes the Indiana State House. Why do I say MAGA? Because Trump was looking for revenge by ousting rhinos in the Indiana Senate that had been against redistricting back in December that was going to give Republicans a 9-0 redistricting map. And he went and endorsed all the opposing Republicans in those districts, and most of them won. And now Indiana is going to be MAGA all the way. Same thing in Ohio. Ramaswamy wins all the counties in Ohio, a sweeping win to be the Republican nominee. And now you've got redistricting happening in other states like Tennessee, where it's going to be completely red after the Supreme Court ruling. That's huge for the midterms. Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy. Love me some Underdog, as you know, and you're going to love it too, man. Get on board. If you haven't downloaded the Underdog app, make sure you do it. Get on top of it, baby. And then use my promo code HeyNow, HEYNOW, all one word. How cool is that? That you get to sign up and say, hey now, when you first play. And it doesn't cost anything to download, doesn't cost anything to sign up, and doesn't cost anything to use my promo code. As a matter of fact, you get some freebies by using my promo code after you play your first $5. So you can't beat that. First of all, you can't beat that. But what you're doing right now, we got a couple things going on. We got UFL going on, and we got NBA playoffs. And there's baseball and all kinds of stuff. And there's so many options to pick from. I mean, on the NBA front, you know, you're picking your players and you're picking higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, or blocks or whatever. But then the same thing on baseball, on UFL, and then before you know it, college football is going to be back, and we're going to be picking on that and everything else. And you can win real money. I mean, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. All you got to do is get in there and make your picks, get them right, and boom, you're winning real money. I know a lot of people say, you know, do this or download that, and you can really win money with Underdog. I've done it countless times. I still play Underdog, and I want you in on the game as well. Download the app today and use promo code HeyNow to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code HeyNow. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 19 or older and present in Alabama. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit ncpgambling.org. That's right. Real quick, before we get into the wheel of segments, I just want to say one quick thing about the U.S. and Iran. Apparently, we're very close to an agreement to end the war. Pakistani mediators are the source of this information. Last night, Donald Trump puts this out. Now, keep in mind, a couple things is Congress was acting like, you know, you got to come to us to continue this on because the 60-day you know, the 60-day memorandum or the 60-day limit is coming up, and basically the Trump administration says, no, Operation Epic Fury's over. We're now into Operation Freedom, or whatever we had called it, which is basically just the blockade and waiting them out. You know, we have still not, contrary to popular belief, we've still not put any boots on the ground, nor have we run across the need to. But also, they are saying now we're in a new stage. We're doing something completely different. So you can go ahead and start that 60-day clock over. We're really not even in a combat. We're not fighting these people or anything. We're just letting them bleed themselves dry. And essentially, the Operation Freedom, I think that's what it's called. It was basically, Project Freedom is what it was, which was the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. We were basically going to start escorting these ships because it's not just a matter of getting oil out there. It's a humanitarian crisis in a sense, because you've got these sailors that are on these oil ships that are kind of just stuck out at sea with nowhere to go. They're running out of food, fresh water, and everything else. So they got to get out and get on their way and get to where they're going. And so we essentially said, well, we're going to start guiding these people out. Iran, you're still going to be blocked. You're still not going to be allowed to go, but we're going to help these guys get in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. Well, then, after a few boats go through, Donald Trump comes out with this post. He says, based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally, the fact that the great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, which is the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. And from what we understand, that from last night was about a 48-hour window, and that if Iran does not come to the table with a signed agreement, they are going to be abiding by what we're asking them to do, then we're just going to get back to work. We're going to get those ships out there, and we're going to allow the oil to start flowing freely, and Iran can just wither away. He also said earlier this morning, he said, assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary Epic Fury will be at an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all, including Iran. If they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be, sadly, at a much higher level and intensity than it was before. Thank you all for your attention to this matter. That is Donald Trump speaking to Iran in the only way they know how to speak. So we'll be seeing some movement on this front probably over the next 24 hours because Iran, again, nothing. They got nothing. They've got these little speedboats that are literally accomplishing nothing whatsoever, and even those boats are being blown out of the water. So Iran's thinking that they can wait us out, but Donald Trump is ready to wrap this up. And so this is one more chance for them to make a decision. And if not, we're just going to start moving on with what we were going to do in the first place. That's my prediction. Anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Wheel of Soapboats.
Back to school.
Back to school. Back to school.
Back to school. Back to school. To prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
Wait, this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's
What?
called Back to School, but then the theme song is School's Out.
Well, yeah, well, that's what the kids want. They're forced to go back to school, and what is it they want? They want school to be out.
Okay, I was just trying to make sense of it.
It's a rebel kind of thing, man.
Okay, it was very confusing. I was like, wait, who put that? I put that together, didn't I?
Yes, you
That
did.
was my fault. That's why it doesn't make any sense. That's exactly why it doesn't make any sense. All right, let's see what we got today. God, we hadn't done this one in so long. I can't even believe we got stories for this. All right. Up first, headline, Vancouver teacher suspended for watching students drink vodka shots on her doorstep.
What?
That's a real sign that school's out for summer.
Yeah. That's weird.
A Vancouver high school teacher who watched two of her students down shooters at her doorstep as part of a graduation challenge
Okay.
has been suspended for a day for failing to promptly alert the school, the student's parents, or police. She only got suspended for a day for that. At around 10 p.m. on June 9th, Jacqueline Rochelle Shepett answered her door and found two grade 12 students standing there with a bottle of vodka and two shot glasses. They said they were there participating in a challenge in which they got points for completing assigned tasks, in this case, drinking shots with one of their teachers. Well, that sounds like a fun game. Quote, at least one of the students drank a shot of vodka in Shepett's presence. At the same time, Shepett consumed a shot of clear liquid.
No. Oh, my gosh.
Shepett suspected that the students were under the influence of alcohol when they arrived at her house and that they may be drinking and driving. The students were not of legal drinking age. Shepett asked one of the students to breathe on her in an attempt to determine if he had been drinking.
That's weird.
Despite her suspicions, Shepett decided not to call the students' parents or police. The next night, a Saturday, the teacher attended a graduation event and told the school principal that grade 12 students were doing the challenge. The principal asked that they discuss it further on Monday. At that meeting, Shepett offered general information about the nature of the challenge, but did not mention the pair were drinking in front of her nights earlier. In April of the same school year, grade 11 students told Shepard their parents were waiting outside and they had to leave early. Shepard became visibly irritated, raised her voice at the students in front of the rest of the class. Shepard told the students that they could not leave early as she had to write an exam. The interaction lasted several minutes and caused the students to cry. What is that? What does that have to do with anything?
Cry? I thought they were seniors.
They were. Now they're talking about some 11th grade students. I don't know. I don't know what this story's talking about.
Man, if she partook in that, she should be under arrest and fired.
I would think so.
But well, it is Canada, so.
Next up, school director accused of leading child fight club sentenced to probation and 30 days in jail.
Oh my God.
This is out of Arkansas. The school director was accused of being the ringleader of a makeshift child fight club. Will spend 30 days in jail and 108 months on probation. That's 9 years. Mary Tracy Morrison, the owner and director of the Delta Institute for the Developing Brain and the Engage program in Jonesboro, pleaded guilty to 1 count of permitting child abuse and 4 counts of contributing to the delinquents of a juvenile. After her release from jail, Morrison will spend 120 days under house arrest with electronic monitoring. She will also be prohibited from working with children in any professional capacity, surrender her occupational therapy license and any other related licenses, complete a mental health assessment, and follow all recommended treatments. Morrison had been arrested in 2025 after a mother told the Craighead County Sheriff's Office that her teenage son was mentally and physically abused at the school. A video obtained through a search warrant showed Morrison had, quote, instructed the child to sit on the floor while being surrounded on the outside on the outside of a circle by 18 other juvenile students and Dr. Morrison. The affidavit stated that Morrison told the other students to put their hands on the child in the center as well as hitting the child with an unknown object.
What?
That was a real fight club.
Man.
While Morrison verbally berated the child, another student kicked and choked the victim. In response, Morrison could be seen giving the juvenile a high five, displaying her pleasure with the student's actions. When the incident ended, Morrison instructed the victim to apologize to all the other students and said the situation should not be discussed again. The incident reportedly lasted 30 minutes and included a teacher instructing a student to hit another in the private area. 3 of the school's employees, 38-year-old Michael Bean, 36-year-old Kristen Bell, and 45-year-old Catherine Lipscomb, were also arrested.
What? Did they go to prison? What?
30 days in jail. And 9 years probation.
Good thing I'm not principal. I'd be cleaning house, literally.
That's pretty crazy, dude, that you would do a child fight club.
Well, I mean, the school had such a long name. I mean, you couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah.
What was it, like School of Education and Children's Welfare and
Big brain.
Big brain stuff. Well, there's some idiots there.
And last but not least, what was the name of this?
Back to school.
Back to school. Headline, teacher who told pupils, quote, "This class terrifies me," chugged gin from a water bottle before vomiting in toilet. A secondary school teacher who chugged a water bottle containing gin in her classroom before throwing up in a staff bathroom has been banned from the profession indefinitely. Anika Karan Kapoor was suspended and subsequently sacked from the Genogly City Academy, Nottingham, in early of 25 after she was found to have consumed alcohol while teaching. A professional conduct panel heard from several witnesses who saw Ms. Kapoor slur her words and act in an exaggerated manner, which caused some pupils to ask whether or not she was drunk. One witness said that while intoxicated and complaining of how her students were not listening to her, Ms. Kapoor told her, quote, "This class terrifies me." Ms. Kapoor said she had to make a grievous error and horrible mistake, said she had made an error and a horrible mistake, and admitted that she was guilty of unacceptable personal professional conduct. In January of 25, Ms. Kapoor brought a water bottle to the school, which contained gin and lemon. She stated that the bottle had been in her bag from her birthday weekend, and she had not realized it still contained alcohol when she started drinking it. Ms. Kapoor said she could not spit it out because her students would question what was in the bottle, so she, quote, chugged it to stop herself from vomiting and consumed around a third of the bottle.
Good God.
Witnesses described seeing Ms. Kapoor slur her words and speak in a way that was out of character. One person told the panel she had been gesticulating with her hands and seemed unsteady on her feet. The panel heard that a student had his head on the desk, and Ms. Kapoor gently pulled him up from the desk with his hair. Ms. Kapoor claimed she had not pulled the pupil's head off the desk, but patted him. After being asked to step outside of the classroom, she began to retch before going to the staff toilet and vomiting, according to the witness.
Oh, man. What is up with these teachers? And they're all chicks. No dudes. Man, what a school.
Yeah, that's a disturbing segment.
Yeah. So we got vodka, we got gin, we got Fight Club. Man, that's trouble.
Yeah, I would take that segment off the wheel. I don't think we should do that one anymore.
All right.
But that's what we call back to school. Yeah. Alabama Men's Clinic, AlabamaMen'sClinic.com. That's my guys over at Alabama Men's Clinic. Get in touch with them, man. If you are a guy and you think you might have some testosterone problems, get in touch with them. That's ED. That's feeling foggy, not having any energy, just not feeling like yourself, man. Could be low T. And if it is, these guys can get you fixed right up. If you feel like you're having problems in the bedroom or things just aren't working out in your favor, if you want to enhance what's going on behind closed doors, Alabama Men's Clinic, man, they got all kinds of treatments and solutions and everything else that can help you with that sex life of yours. And you don't have to feel uncomfortable about it. You don't have to be, weird or feel ashamed. These guys deal with it every single day. They even themselves, they use the treatment, so they know it works. They know what it's for. They know how to help you, and they customize the plan just for you. So what they want to do is they want to get you up there, get to know you, get to know what your problems are, and get to know what it is you're looking for. Like, what do you want to see in your life with your partner, with your wife, and they can make it. I'm telling you, you get that part of your life fixed, every other aspect of your life's going to be better. You better believe it. That's how that works. 205-598-7000. It's 205-598-7000. Online, AlabamaMen'sClinic.com. Right now, Donald Trump speaking in the Oval Office about the UFC event at the White House. We will keep our eye on that and be back on the other side. Deep South Construction Pros, man, I cannot tell you how much I love these guys. They are just they're fantastic. And what I love the most about them, and this is what they pride themselves on, as you know, that they're right here in Alabama. Alabama roots, which means that all the money that gets spent is right here in Alabama. It goes right back into the local economy, and that's honestly in a business, whatever they provide. Like that's what I like in a business. I like knowing that, if I'm spending my money with somebody, that my money is not going to a different state or going elsewhere and helping somebody else's economy. That it stays right here. That's what happens with Deep South Construction. What these guys do, they do a lot of stuff. But one of the more important things that they do is that basement waterproofing and crawl space encapsulation. I've explained to y'all so many times how important it is to take care of that. And as we have these storms rolling through over the next couple of days, it's going to be the perfect time for you to check under your house or look in your basement and see if you're noticing any of that moisture getting in. You can usually just smell it. You can smell that moisture. And that ultimately ends up, turning into mold and causing bigger problems and everything else. These guys can get out there and they can get you hooked up to where you don't have to deal with that problem ever again, because it not only affects your basement or your crawl space. I mean, it ultimately can bleed into foundation issues, which they can help you with as well. Like I always tell you, like when it comes to your foundation, you've got to look for certain things. Obviously, cracks in the brick. Doors and windows not opening and shutting like they used to. You're noticing, a gap between your wall and your floor. All of that it's one package. And Deep South Construction Pros, they're on top of all of that. Irrigation problems that you're dealing with on the outside that ultimately cause that moisture and that water getting in your basement and your crawl space. Get in touch with these guys. And when you do, make sure you tell them I sent you. And ask them any questions you got. If you've never gone down this path before, they're going to be there with you every step of the way to help you understand what it is you need, what it is that's got to be done. And these guys are great. I can't say enough good things about them. Reach out to them. Again, make sure you tell them I sent you and get yourself hooked up with a very important service. I'm telling you, because this stuff gets worse before it gets better. It's not going to solve itself on its own. Here's the phone number, 256-305-1854. That's 256-305-1854. And online, deepsouthconstructionpros.com. That's deepsouthconstructionpros.com. All their information right there. Proud to be partnered with these guys. They're fantastic. All right, let's get out of here, man. Weather coming through the area, as you know. Y'all be safe this evening and into tonight. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but we want to be safe. Leland's got you every step of the way, so don't go anywhere. And we'll do this all over again tomorrow. How does that sound, John Bird?
Fantastic.
Until then, see you, cuz.